Now, we're going to try this again. Because last time I was getting into this real good, and I think the devil had another plan. But you know what? Even though he's busy, God is busier. There's a difference. For any man listening to this, because y'all the ones who really need to hear this, just like the brother I was talking to, there's a difference between a woman who is overly guarded or bitter and broken and a woman who is protecting herself. And you just being used to being able to skip past that process where you build a proper foundation. Again, I was telling the brother this at the gym. All right, let me run it back. For those who were not here earlier, we had some tech difficulties. Let's just say it's not the devil. I know it is. But nonetheless, I was telling y'all about how minutes prior, I ran into a guy who recognized me. We got into talking. And he was like, man, I really like this girl, though, man. She's a good girl. She's this, she's that. He just had all of these great compliments about her. But there was one flaw. And the flaw was that she was overly guarded. Now, that does exist. Being overly guarded, shielding yourself from all interaction so that you never get hurt again if you've ever been through something. That does exist. But I needed to qualify this. So I'm talking to this brother and I say, okay, how long have y'all been dating? 3 weeks. Now it's immediately no longer making sense. It's unraveling. How is a woman overly guarded if she gave you her number, but in 3 weeks, what ground have y'all covered to know that she's guarded? Overly guarded. He was like, well, man, you know what I'm saying? I understand we ain't supposed to be just jumping straight into the bedroom. We ain't supposed to go straight into sex, nothing like that. I was like, okay, you got some sense. He was like, but still, man, you know what I'm saying? We can't even have the conversations that would let her know she could be comfortable enough to go that route. And I was like, okay, let me get this straight. So you're calling her overly guarded because she won't allow you the segue into sex. Now, of course, he got mad at my wording and tried to backtrack it, but that's exactly what he was saying. And I told him the same way I'm going to tell y'all, that woman is not overly guarded. A lot of times we talk about women being overly guarded whenever you guys are saying, okay, I'm not going to rush this. I'm not going to just skip past the process. I'm not going to immediately let you in. And maybe, honestly, you might go into a situation being willing to see what a guy's intentions are, but not necessarily thinking dating because you've been disappointed before and you don't even get your hopes up that the guy will even make it to the date just because you know you desire a certain pace for things to go at. So I said, bro, there's a thin line. There's a thin line between a woman being overly guarded and you just being entitled. There's a thin line between her being overprotective, overly guarded, shut off, cold-hearted, bitter, whatever, and you thinking you can keep rushing the process like you've done over and over again before she came along. That's not how this goes. Now, of course, he got upset with me, but I'm telling y'all the exact same thing. You see, when a woman has been through a lot of things, y'all already know this. You went in thinking, I think I know who I'm dealing with, therefore I'm going to be vulnerable. Then you got disappointed. You got showed that basically you were wrong. And I think it's interesting because as dudes, we like to put it on y'all and y'all's decision making, but then turn around and want sympathy vagina because everybody done snaked me in my past. Everybody done traded up on me. I can't trust these men out here. They just gonna try to backstab me. They're gonna try to backdoor me, man. I can't. So let me get this straight. Fellas, any man gonna listen to this, let me get this straight. You can totally understand how another man can backdoor you, meaning trade up on you, switch up on you, whatever the case may be, deceive you. But you can't understand how a woman would have that happen to her, and she's going way more deep into that relationship than you are. You ain't even forming no soul tie with the dude. You just homies or doing business. And you done got duped by a man or two. These dudes are, I keep my circle small. Cause these dudes out here, you know what I'm saying, they'll trade up on you. They'll do this, they'll do that. Okay, cool. What do you think a woman is doing if she keeps her dating option pool small? What do you think she's doing? Y'all help me out. And again, I'm saying this because I realize there's some misunderstanding. But also, guarded women are a blessing. Guarded women are a blessing. Now, we're going to talk about the overly guarded thing in a minute. But brother, when a woman went through whatever she went through in that relationship, because I don't think there's a single woman that goes into a serious relationship for the very first time that's hyper vigilant about being hurt. That's not how it happens. Typically, it happens as a response to something that she's been through. After that relationship ended, where she got burned, she got hurt, whatever the case may have been, she may have been at fault, may have not. She had two choices. She could either be guarded, or she could go and say, I'm going to play the game. Y'all be wondering where these quote unquote bad girls come from? Where these girls that just want you for your money come from? They come from a lot of pain too. So the woman that got hurt and left that relationship and chose, I'm going to be guarded, that should indicate to you she has a heart still left ready to love, or with the capacity to love, because that's the only thing you're going to guard. If she ain't got no more heart left, if she just saying, I'm evil now, I'm in my villain era, whatever it is, she just gonna go play the game. She gonna go and get money. She gonna go dig. She gonna look for the next dude that she can just make an example of, that she's the wrong one to ever hurt again, et cetera, et cetera. But she's not gonna go out here guarded. You only gonna go out here guarded if you still soft on the inside. That's the thing about guarded women. The problem that a lot of y'all really have is, the challenge that you have anyway, is that she has risen her standard. She requires more from you. She requires not more in terms of the money and take her on a yacht. No, she requires more evidence of your character, of your intentions. That's the only real problem with a quote unquote guarded woman. She's going to require that there's more time that needs to pass. There's patterns I need to see, not just some love bombing. I need to see some patterns. That's the only quote unquote problem. And the only reason why it's a problem for you is if you have short-term intentions. Because if you have long-term, if you have real intentions with this woman, no matter how guarded she is, as long as she's not overly guarded, let me take that back. As long as she's not overly guarded to where even after you put in 6 months or 3 months and you've been consistent, like you're getting nowhere, long as that's not the case, that's a good thing. That tells you she's not going to be so open if you were to give her your heart. If you were to give her your heart, what up, Joyce? Think about a bank. You know, people get upset when they call the bank and the bank say, oh, what's your date of birth, social, PIN, this and that. I'll be glad. Thank you for asking me all of these questions. Yeah, it take a little bit more time. But would you really trust your money in a bank that had no verification process? It'd be like, oh yeah, it kind of sound like you. So go, yeah. Here's all the information. Here's your bank account balance, and here's a transfer over to this account. No, you want anything that's protecting something that's important is going to be guarded. You don't just jump straight in and get into anything and that's valuable if you ain't got to pass no security checks. So if a woman is guarded, that should tell you something. There's something important in there, bro. A woman who has stored up no value in herself, yeah, she gonna let you come on in. What's there? I hate, y'all can get mad at me. Please slut shame it. Look, I'm keeping it real with you. But what is there? If she just open door, fall in love, the first hour that she meets you, want to let you hit it raw, want to have your baby, want to get married tomorrow, and she just met you, bro, like, you know she has stored up no value there. Either that, or you have a very young girl, and this is her first go round. But when a woman is guarded, it tells you she has a lot more to guard. Or she's been through some things, and instead of becoming like the people who hurt her, she says, I'm going to protect me. And then the man that's right for me, he's going to go through the extra steps because he's going to see that I'm worth it. That's what you get from a guarded woman. Am I making sense? I'm sorry, y'all know I got my little chest meat out a little bit, man. I came from the gym. Y'all, am I making sense? Am I making sense to anybody? Put facts if I'm speaking facts. If I'm not, just tell me I'm speaking fiction, and I'll be okay with that. Or if you don't feel like commenting, share this so somebody else can get this message. If a woman is guarded, that tells you there's something important, there's something valuable that she's guarding, and it tells you that she's not continued to be irresponsible if she ever was, because sometimes a woman can be totally responsible and still get deceived and duped by a man. But if that woman is guarded, she's telling you that she's still choosing love. But now there's got to be more requirements met to get access to it. Now, here's the truth a lot of y'all don't want to admit, but I'm going to speak to the women real quick. I knew my daughter was coming in here. I knew she was.
Daddy,
yes, Bo. Okay, take that to the living room, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Take it to the living room.
Okay.
Okay. Can you close my door?
That's good.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Shout out to everybody that work from home. Back to what I was saying. The truth a lot of dudes don't want y'all to know, sisters out there, is that when they want you to rush, I know y'all be thinking like, oh, it's because of sex. A lot of times a guy is so insecure. If you're not jumping head over heels for him from day one, he feels like you don't like him. That's why a lot of guys want to rush. A lot of y'all get love bombed. A lot of y'all get pressured for something sexual, some type of quick, instant evidence. And it's not always this malicious signal that this guy is just trying to love bomb you. A lot of it's always something unhealthy, by the way. A lot of times it's a signal that this man is so insecure. If you don't immediately jump into some type of relationship effort, some type of bedroom, something, he feels like you don't like him. That's how he qualifies your interest in him, is how quick you'll move. That's typically an emotionally immature man. Because a mature man is going to have the confidence and the security to take things slowly, intentionally. Long as he sees that you are open to some type of conversation, dialogue, continued connection, you're not playing games with him. You're not telling him, I want to go on a date in a month and something like that. Or I'm busy this weekend, or I'm busy next weekend, and whatever. Like, long as it ain't continuing on. After the first 2-3 weeks, if you can't open up your schedule, then yes, a man is going to say, well, she's probably not interested. A lot of guys want to rush, and it's not necessarily strictly to the bedroom. They're trying to rush to some level of belief that you like them back. And if they don't get it quick, it counters everything that they've come into agreement with about how a woman moves. Because they've been dealing with women who strictly moved on desire and lust and infatuation. And so if a guy gets used to women who move on those types of things, he can't possibly resonate with a woman who's moving on safety, long-term intentions, something real. It'll be like a culture shock to him. I don't know how many of y'all know that. And I'm telling you that because you might feel pressured to hurry up and show, like, go in the cinema picture, or invite him to your house, or agree to come to his house, or, maybe you are too bitter, and because when you get hurt really badly, you can carry insecurities going forward about how that's impacted you. But let me just go ahead and dispel that real quick. If you are a guarded woman, stay that way. Unless under two conditions. If, number one, you don't want love, if that's where you're at, you're done with love, you've given up completely, that's a problem. We need to fix the guarded situation, because now you're blocking your blessing. You are absolutely blocking your blessing. You're trying to numb yourself. And deep down, you got a heart that wants to be held. Or two, you're only guarded because you still have unbroken soul ties. If you're guarded because you have unbroken soul ties, now I'm not saying that you still want your ex, but I'm saying you're still so deeply impacted by him that you can't see any man apart from him as you're continuing to date. So therefore your guard goes up, because all you're doing is getting reminded of your ex. That's a problem. That's where we want to do some work. That's where you're now shielding yourself so much. Again, you're keeping the good and the bad out. And the soul tie thing goes so much deeper, because you can have soul ties and be ready or jumping into a relationship. You can have soul ties and simply think it's, trust issues. Sometimes your soul ties show up as trust issues, but you jump into a relationship anyway. You're going to give them a chance anyway, but you never truly have peace. You never truly have peace. Like, there's some women out there who think in order to be in a relationship, they got to look through a man's phone. They got to see what's on his computer. They got to do this. They got to do that. And I'm like, that ain't nothing but a soul tie. They ain't nothing but a soul tie. Or there's some women who get in a new relationship and they cannot be sexually satisfied. Like, they ain't nothing but a soul tie. No matter what the guy does, no matter what he's equipped with down there, they can't be. If it's something like that, your peace isn't there. Again, the trust, you just can't trust this guy. Something feels off, but he ain't showing you nothing but green flags. Might be a soul tie. I go through the entire list of examples of soul ties in my masterclass, Breaking the Soul Tie. If you want access to that, I just put the link down in here again. It came down and I put it up yesterday. I'm keeping it up a little bit longer for those who missed it, but you can get it at Derek'sFreeMasterclass.com or hit the link down here in the comments. Break the Soul Tie Masterclass. I described the effects, how red flags you got a soul tie, even if it was just a little quick hookup or a long-term relationship. And the step-by-step on how to break the soul tie, because that's most important. So you can get free and be ready for your king. Some of y'all got scared by that word. The right ones didn't. Back to what I was saying. I was telling the brother, like, look, man, she doesn't sound like she's overly guarded. But if she was, like, in the true sense, being guarded, bro, that's a blessing. You get a woman that's guarded, you get a woman that has a much higher likelihood, especially if she's over the age of 30. Let me say that. Because if she's 20 years old and she's overly guarded, okay, like she might have some childhood trauma. You know what I'm saying? She's really, really young. But a woman who's been through some things, if she's chosen the path of being guarded, that means that's what she's going to do with your heart. Now, if you get 6, 7 months in and you just ain't getting nowhere, okay, just keep the line of communication open. But don't try to transfer over your low standards of what it means to build a foundation over to this woman who's saying, I've now risen my standards. The right man is going to rise up to them. I hope I'm making sense to somebody. You done got so used as a man, you done got so used to skipping the foundational blocks of a real relationship that you think it's supposed to go quick and just jump past her. But how has that worked out for you? Why do you think the other relationships didn't work out? I know y'all weren't compatible, whatever. No, because from the very beginning, you needed that woman to jump past. You needed her to jump past all of the steps and immediately soothe your insecurity with some premature access to her that left her hurt. And now either playing the game or being overly guarded. But I digress. Those are just my thoughts. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. If you agreed with what I said, you ain't even got to tell me. Share this. Share this right now on your timeline. Hit the share button. There should be an arrow somewhere. Share this right now if you agree with what I said in this conversation so somebody else can get enlightened. I guarantee you somebody need it. And if you want access to the masterclass, Breaking the Soul Tie, last opportunity is right here down in the comments. Break the Soul Tie Masterclass. I give you the examples of a soul tie, the side effects of them, how to know if you got one, and the step-by-step on how to break the soul tie so you can free yourself. All right? Again, that link is down here in the comments, also in the caption. I'll let y'all